the 131 Turbo versus the 131 Stage 4 kit. Which one's right for you? Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am Crew, host of the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Harley Davidson 131 Stage 4 kit that Harley Davidson sells. Now here we have two of them and two very different applications. I'm going to cover today the questions that I've been asked the most about the Harley Davidson 131 Stage 4 kit. The first question we're going to cover is the 131 performance. The second question that we're going to cover is reliability. The third is does it get hot? And lastly, the gas mileage. Because these are the questions I've been asked the most since I've had the 131 Stage 4 kit. Let's just talk about the horsepower numbers. That's what everybody wants to know. When I purchased this motorcycle, I bought it with the 131 Stage 4 kit installed on it already. The horsepower numbers I was getting with the Screamin tuner was 135 foot-pounds of torque and 125 horsepower, right? In comparison, this one here has the Screamin Stage 4 kit as it comes from Harley Davidson. But this one is tuned with a Power Vision tuner. This one is getting 140 foot-pounds of torque and 130 horsepower to the wheel. This one, though, is tuned with a Power Vision tuner. It's not tuned with a Screamin tuner. So you get a little bit more ponies out of it with an aftermarket tuner. Now, it could probably get more if it's leaned up or something. But anyways, that's the horsepower numbers that I personally have on my 131 Stage 4 kits. Now, this one now with this boosted application I have from Trask Performance is making way more than that, right? If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button because it really helps out the channel. And also, like 80% of you all that watch my channel are not subscribed. So just hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out, man. So anyhow, I have a bunch of videos. I have a horsepower release video on this one here. So if you want to see how much horsepower it has, go and check that out. But I'll probably cover that here in this video. So those are the horsepower numbers. Now, reliability, right? These 131s, these are not the crate engines. I know that I've heard that the crate engines have had some issues, either whether small issues or big issues. But me personally, I haven't had any issues with my 131 Stage 4 kits. For example, this one here, when I bought it, it already came with the 131 Stage 4 kit. And I love it. It sounds mean. It sounds mean. I rode it from Roanoke, Virginia, straight to Houston, Texas within 24 hours. And so what does that mean is that I also got my Saddle Sore 1,000 mile patch with this one from the Iron Butt Association. So this motorcycle is a patched motorcycle, just how you see it with the 131 Stage 4 kit from the Iron Butt Association. And I like to go. If you see my videos, I like to ride fast, you know. And so it's been reliable, very, very reliable. Now, some of you might be thinking, just one trip. Okay, let's move to this one. Okay, let's just pretend we don't have this big old turbo system here. But when I first bought the motorcycle, I bought it with the 131 Stage 4 kit under the Harley Davidson warranty with the Screamin tuner and like everything, right? I rode it for 7,500 miles, of which within those 7,500 miles, I rode it from Houston, Texas, all the way to Sturgis. I had Trask Performance install a turbo system with an SNS 550 cam chest kit. Now, that's awesome and it's great and I loved it. I rode that one. I never had any issues. But my point in saying that, it was still with the 131 Stage 4 heads, the 131 pistons, and the 131 jugs. And I didn't have any issues. And it went from 35 foot-pounds of torque to well over that, like almost shy of 200 horsepower, right? I never released those numbers simply because I didn't want to at the time. But it already happened. So at that time, this motorcycle with that was getting 185 horsepower and about 80 foot-pounds of torque to the rear wheel. Now, mind you, that was with a stock clutch and a stock compensator, stock transmission, and all that stuff. So I was probably slipping a lot of horsepower out there. And that was at 8 pounds of boost. Again, this is all with the 131 Stage 4 heads and the jugs with the pistons. So with the turbo system application, I had another 8,000 miles with that. So again, you're talking about 15,000 miles with the 131 Stage 4 heads as they come with the 131 pistons and jugs. So it rode like that and I never had any issues. So I ended up riding this motorcycle to Phoenix, Arizona with that whole setup and just going. Trask Performance basically split the cases and build a whole engine up because that's what I wanted. One thing I forgot to mention is that I rode 23,000 miles within 15 months on this motorcycle. So is it reliable? Personally, yes. Moving on. Heat. Does it get hot? Yes. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Does it get unbearably hot? No, not at all. In this stock configuration, like I mentioned, it gets hot, but it doesn't get really, really hot. Now, this one over here, obviously it's going to get hotter because of the turbo boosted applications. I have an ultra cool oil fan hanging out the left side. I also have a video on that if you want to check that out. And that has changed the game, right? So that I'm going to get installed on this as well. I will say that with the proper tune and upgrades, the 131 really is not hotter than the 114, right? In my personal experience. And I'm in Houston, so it gets pretty hot down here. Gas mileage. The gas mileage is actually not bad in my opinion. On this one here, before I did all this, on the 131 Stage 4 kit by itself, and again, I made a video about it, I was averaging, I want to say it was 32 or 35 miles per gallon, but that was with me like on it, right? So I'm going to predict that it's the same for this one here. Now this one with the turbo system, ironically, I get the same gas mileage, and that's with me on it with a ton more horsepower. I got, and I made a video on that as well when I went to Daytona, and I get 32 miles per gallon. So both of my bikes, they're highway bikes, man. The last thing I'm gonna cover, man, is it right for you, right? Do you need a 131 Stage 4 kit? Do you need this? I mean, do you need this? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you don't need any of this, right? But I digress. I'm gonna say we do need it because it's good for our health, right? In my opinion. So, so do you need this, right? That's gonna be a personal preference, guys. You know, if you want to have something that's under warranty, that gives you more horsepower, more torque, and it sounds good, then you might want to consider the 131 Stage 4 kit with all of their stock configurations, right? One thing I forgot to mention is that if you upgrade small things on this 131 kit, you'll get 140, 150 horsepower, no problem. So obviously, you know, cam and a proper tuner and a proper tune, right? And then if you want to upgrade the oil pump and cam, like that's up to you. But with those little things, you'll get up to 150, like I said, or 149 or something like that, just with that. So it's kind of up to you. If you want to go that route, the 131 is probably a good platform, and that's reliable power, right? So again, so is it for you? It really depends on what you want. If you're good with your whatever engine you have, then don't mess with it, you know. But if you have a need for speed, like I do, obviously, then you might want to get it. That is it for today's video, but I thought it was really important because riding season is here, and I thought it was really important to cover the 131 Stage 4 kit because a lot of people want to know about it, right? Now, I've had it for well over a year now, and now I got two, and I'm super happy with them. All right, everybody, that does it for today's video. So is it right for you? It kind of depends. So the 131 Turbo versus the 131 Stage 4 kit, which one's right for you?